Hi, welcome to my channel. My name's Miss Wangoi Moitathi, and today I'd like to talk about cash crunch. What happens when a country goes broke? Stay tuned. A cash crunch is a financial situation where a country cannot meet its obligations due to insufficient funds. Imagine a whole country having insufficient funds. We thought we were the only ones who would be told, you're trying to withdraw money. It tells you, you have insufficient funds and you're an individual. Now, this is about a whole country. The irony behind it. This happens due to things like poor fiscal management, excessive borrowing of money or funds, and relying on unstable revenue resources. You're relying on something that is not stable for it to give you money to pay back loans you borrow from IMF or stuff like that. This causes reduced government spending, delayed salaries, and halted projects. And that's why you'll find a project, it was started, and then all of a sudden it stopped. Mismanagement of funds or mismanagement of money. And this is where you'll find delayed in payment of civil servants and all of a sudden emerged debt repayment challenges. There's always excuses here and there. Oh, we have a challenge, we are facing a challenge. Yes. This is to highlight the risks of cash flow imbalances on a national level. Okay. Debt is supposed to help stabilize an economy. And that's why countries borrow some of these debts. But now, when the opposite happens, it becomes a crisis. Debt occurs when a country borrows more than it can pay. The revenue produced by that country cannot be able to repay the amount borrowed, so you go into debt. This looks like borrowing for infrastructures and unproductive ventures. And now you see, excessive debt increases repayment pressure and it weakens that country's currency. So in short, a country's debt strains its economy. And that's why when you hear debts being borrowed, you need to be worried. So if you find someone asking questions, allow them to ask those questions. Sustainable borrowing policies are essential. You can't just go borrowing money without sustainable policies. But I guess, anyway, this is the result of borrowing a loan or taking a loan with no planning. There's poor planning. So the same way it affects an individual, it affects the country as a whole. When you take a loan and you have a poor plan, of course, you're going to go into debt. So in this instant, we're talking about a country. The government mismanaging fiscal policies by lack of foresight, wasteful management, and ineffective budgeting models. This leads to revenue shortfalls and inefficiency. Effective planning or having a good plan can avoid economic downturns. But also, as much as you have effective planning and there's corruption, you're still doing nothing as a country. Corruption plays a huge role on cash crunch. Corruption is misallocation of funds for personal use. You misallocate funds and resources for personal gain. And this is where you'll find inflated procurement costs, ghost projects, or unaccounted spending. So you're told money has been spent to do this and this and this, but when you follow up, there's nothing. But the money has been spent. Or you hear of a project, but when you go looking for it, it's a ghost project. This drains public funds and reduces efficiency. For instance, persistent audit gaps highlighted in a country's ministries. If ever a country or a nation needs to be stable, transparency is a must. You have to be transparent with where the funds are going, with whatever decisions you guys are making, if you ever want your country to be stable. Without that, your country will continue to be unstable. All this comes with currency depreciation. Currency for your country just keeps going down and down and down, and it becomes weaker by the day. This is a significant reduction in the value of a country's currency. It affects almost everything, from imports, debt repayments, and inflation. Everything just goes up. This drives up the cost of living and debt servicing. Kila mtu anaumia tu. And your currency keeps depreciating against the dollar. For your country to have a strong currency, you require to have sound policies, sound economic policies. Without that, your currency will keep going down, down, and down, down. Anyway, when currencies go down, it affects your households and your businesses. Now this is where it gets personal. Financial constraints reduce purchasing power. It also reduces liquidity. And you'll see this in things like delayed payments and reduced government expenditures. This hampers growth, especially for small businesses and suppliers. Hey, hao wanaumiaga. Huh? Because delayed government payments affects suppliers. And that's why there was a time we just hear suppliers complaining a lot. So, economic crises affect everyone, from homes to businesses. So you can't say it's not affecting me. You must be just blind not to see. It affects you one way or another, as long as you're in that country. The only way to stop bankruptcy or to avoid bankruptcy is by debt restructuring, prudent spending, and revenue mobilization. These are measures to stabilize finances and avoid default. They also help to maintain international trust and maintain economic stability. Without those three, economy will be very unstable. Keep in mind, proactive policies protect a country from crisis. Proactive policies prevent a nation from crisis. My question to you is, how is your government preventing something like a financial crisis? Share on the comment section. Well, that's it for us today. If you'd like to see more videos like this, don't forget to like and subscribe, and you'll be notified once we upload another new video. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.